Mary and Becky were best of friends. They were more of sisters than friends. They would go to church together, to the market, and even spend time in each other's house. One day, Mary met a very handsome man in church and they went out on a coffee date. Becky was so upset because she couldn't have a friend after church. Paul and Mary ended up going for several dates and Paul ended up proposing to Mary. Mary was so excited and broke the news to her best friend Becky. Becky helped her friend to organize her dream wedding. After Mary and Paul came back from their honeymoon, Becky started spending a lot of time in Mary's home. Becky would come and volunteer to cook, especially when Paul was around. This went on for quite some time and there were days she would come skimpily dressed to Mary's house. Mary got uncomfortable and told her,
"Becky, I know we're friends, but my husband and I are no longer comfortable with the way you dress when you come to our home."
Becky sighed and said,
"I've had you, bestie. I'll try and change."
One day, Mary woke up feeling feverish and very nauseated. She went to the hospital only for the doctor to confirm that she was 2 months pregnant. She was so excited and she couldn't wait to share the news with her husband and her best friend Becky. Her husband was so excited and he couldn't wait to be called a father. As for Becky, everything changed the moment she heard that her best friend was expecting a baby. The news troubled Becky for quite some time, to the extent that she decided to visit a witch doctor to reverse her best friend's pregnancy. The witch doctor told her,
"We cannot reverse the pregnancy, but we can cause her to give birth to strange things like bees. I'll give you something that you'll put in her food, and once she eats it, it will change whatever she's carrying in her womb."
Becky did as she was told, and the next day she took a prepared meal to her best friend Mary to eat. They sat down and talked for quite some time, and finally Becky left. Mary was so excited to be a mom and she kept calling Becky on phone and telling her,
"I cannot wait for God to bless you with marriage like mine, or maybe a man like mine to love you and probably end up becoming a mom like me one day."
Becky would smile and say in her heart,
"Do you think you're prettier because you get married before me? Or do you even think you'll have children? Let's wait and see."
They would then burst and laugh loudly, and Becky would say,
"My sister, oh, I can't wait for God to bless me with my own."
Months later, Mary went into labor and the doctors were so shocked as to what Mary had given birth to. She had given birth to a bag filled with bees. One of the doctors shouted, saying,
"Are you a witch? Because we've never seen such a case. What is this?"
Mary was in so much pain and she was so embarrassed at the same time. She asked her husband to take her back home. Mary got home and locked herself in the bedroom and cried for hours. Her husband felt so helpless and so bad and decided to call their pastor, who came home and they prayed for hours and finally got a revelation as to what had happened. Mary could not believe that her best friend was the enemy behind her marriage. Becky and Mary separated for life, and Becky finally got her own test of karma. She lost her own womb when she tried to carry out an abortion in the hospital, and she remained childless for life. No one ever got to marry her. Mary got pregnant and she was blessed with twins. Both Paul and Mary lived happily ever after. The end. If you enjoyed the story so far, please give it a like, subscribe and share, and please consider leaving a comment in the comment section telling me whether you enjoyed the story, and tell me whatever city or country you're watching me from for me to give you a shout out on the next episode of Wonder Tales by Julian.